Episode number 4 of the 2 Minute Drill with grizzled radio veterans Jim Monahan and Chris Swendeman. Chris, how was Christmas before we get started?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. Santa, very good to me. And it was just great to take some time with the family and the puppers. We had a great time. You?
Well, I was going to ask you, was the New York Rangers had a Christmas present?
The New York Rangers hat wasn't a present, but the shirt actually was. So you were half right. You had it half right there.
All right. Well, Santa was good to me. I have to admit, although it was me at my wife's behest, if that makes sense, she forced me to go buy a guitar.
Wait, somebody forced you to go buy a
Yeah, she
guitar?
made me do it. She said, "You have to do this." So I went and bought a guitar.
Oh, twist your arm. I'm
Yeah.
sure there had to be a lot of arm twisting on that one.
Well, it's a case of guitar acquisition syndrome.
Nice.
Anyway, let's get started here as we approach the final week of the NFL regular season. We'll do Jets and Giants this week. There are three people that I can think of right off the top of my head who should not be at MetLife Stadium this Sunday for the Jets Miami Dolphins game. You, me, and Aaron Rodgers. He has to go, and it has to be done before this game. He cannot be allowed to be in uniform after what happened this past weekend. And it's not just that they lost, it was how they lost. He looked disinterested. That penalty he got for shoving a guy out of bounds. What are you thinking? He
I
looked, it was a disgrace, Chris. Everything that's gone wrong with this franchise over how many years was just on complete display. He was the poster boy for it. He cannot be in a Jet uniform this weekend.
Statistically, it was one of the worst quarterback performances of all time. He is now this has the distinct record of being the most sacked quarterback of all time as well. And that performance, nothing short of a disgrace. Can't agree with you enough. And it's just all he's playing for right now is personal records. He's one away from 500. And if I'm the Jets, I don't let him get that with their uniform. Let him go somewhere else next season and sign and see if he can get it there. Because what he's been doing to the Jets is just tearing them down slowly but surely, all for his personal gain. And you know what? They're better off without him. Tyrod Taylor, at least they looked like they wanted to play and with some heart. You saw Tyrod under center. That team immediately responded to him. Nobody wants to play with this guy at this point and his ego.
Listen, after he scored a touchdown, the Bills coach congratulated Taylor. The opposing coach. What is that telling you? And we've poked a lot of fun at Woody Johnson the past couple of weeks, the owner of the Jets. Maybe he was right, Chris, when he wanted to bench Rodgers earlier in the season. I know it was ridiculous. The timing would not have made any sense. But you look at what's happening. I'm telling you, he cannot be in a Jet uniform this coming Sunday.
No, you can't. And I mean, just take a look at what the Jets have done. Look, I'll give you a couple names right off the top of my head. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith. What are they doing right about now?
Not
Oh,
playing for the Jets for one.
they're playing successful football. Why? Because they don't play for the Jets. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. Geno Smith is a good quarterback. They needed to get away from this dumpster fire of an organization to prove it. And it just is amazing what this team will do to decent players and how they flourish once they get away. Who's going to be the next one to flourish? Garrett Wilson when he leaves the Jets?
As we said last week, maybe President-elect Donald Trump takes Woody Johnson and sends him somewhere, makes him an ambassador, gets him out of the front office, and they can go and rebuild the franchise. Meanwhile, the other tenants at MetLife Stadium. For a few weeks now, fans were flying banners over the stadium. They were all upset at how poorly the team was playing. They go out and put up an epic performance this past weekend, and fans are livid now because they no longer have the number one pick.
Right
Make
now,
up your mind.
I, I mean, even when they win, they lose. That's the Giants' mantra right now. They just can't do anything right and get out of their own way. No matter what they do, it's the wrong move. It's been that way all season, and this is just the exclamation point. They fall from the number one seed. Now they're at 4 with 1 week to go. And oh, by the way, guess who you're playing this week? Philly. Good luck, guys. And now you're playing, not only are you playing Philly, but here's the kicker, as only the Giants can. Saquon Barkley running for the record-breaking rushing title, in-season rushing title. You can't make this up, Jim.
You were hearing a lot of talk from the Giants locker room about they were playing for pride this past weekend. What a bunch of nonsense. What about the
No.
previous games? Well, there was no pride in those games. All of a sudden, you decide to turn it on. And I'm not one of those guys who thinks the Giants should have tanked and lost the game. Don't get me wrong here. But for crying out loud, if you couldn't find pride before this past weekend, then you need to look in the mirror and see where the problem really is, looking back at you.
Exactly. Between the coaching staff and the players. It took you to week 17 to figure out that you wanted to play for pride and play for, the jersey that we wear for ourselves and for our teammates and for the fans. Stop. Come on, guys. I mean, give me something better than that, at least. Giant fans have been hanging in there all season. You almost went completely over at home, if not for this final game. I mean, they were an abomination at home this year, and all of a sudden they turn it on like a light switch. I'm not buying it.
The Mets won more home games during the month of October than the Giants did this year. And the Mets haven't been playing since October. The way the picks look right now, if the season were to end, Patriots at 1, Tennessee at 2, Cleveland at 3, Giants at 4. All 4 of these teams can expect to lose this weekend. The Patriots have Buffalo, and unless Buffalo rests the entire first and second teams and throws the practice squad out there, I don't see the Patriots winning that game. Tennessee has Houston, Cleveland has Baltimore, and then the Giants, as you mentioned, have the Eagles. Again, I could see all 4 teams losing in that case, and you'd have the exact same order. What, the Giants can't make a trade to get a higher pick for what they're looking for? I mean, this is a little crazy to worry about who has the number 1 pick. There are ways that the Giants can get the player and or players that they need.
The thing that worries me, though, about where the Giants pick now, I mean, when you're in the top 4, you can maneuver up to number 1. When you get into the middle of the first round, or that's when it becomes harder to kind of maneuver your way up to the top of the heap. But my problem isn't letting the Giants move up to 1. It's, will they have the gumption to do it? This team does not go for broke. This team does not make those big, exciting, whoa moves. I mean, you let the top rusher this year walk out the door like he was nothing. Are they going to really see the value in moving up to make a big splash? I don't see it from this team.
The only thing I'll say in defense of the Giants letting Saquon Barkley go is it's a quarterback-driven league, not running back, and it has been for quite some time. The problem is they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, like they said, you saw the whole entire thing unfold on Hard Knocks. And they said, this is Danny's team now. Really? Where's Daniel Jones now? Backing up Sam Darnold on the Vikings. So that didn't work out. You let Barkley go out the door, and now you don't even have the first pick. So things are looking really rosy for the Giants right about now, I'd say.
It's going to be a busy offseason for both teams, no doubt. That's the 2-minute drill here on All Mixed Up Radio. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you click like and subscribe for more. Swendom, and have a great New Year's, and we'll talk next week.
You got it, Jim. Enjoy.